Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Montreal, Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Canadiens closely, you know that this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory. The team, under the leadership of Executive Vice President Jeff Gorton, is sitting on a fascinating crossroads, balancing between strategic patience and aggressive moves that could define their future. And no, it's not just about filling roster spots or signing free agents. It's about making bold decisions, about shaping the core of this team for years to come. As we speak, the Canadiens are carefully evaluating their options, especially when it comes to key positions like the second-line center and the defensive core. The whispers in Montreal are loud, and the attention is centered on two main issues that could dramatically alter their roster and potentially their trajectory toward another Stanley Cup. First, let's talk about that second-line center. The Canadiens, as many fans already know, have been looking for stability and reliability at that crucial position. Last season showed glimpses of promise, but consistency was often missing. Kirby Dach, for instance, assuming he's healthy, is seen as a potential internal solution. Dach's talent is undeniable, and his size and playmaking ability make him a natural fit for the role. But health remains a lingering question, as it has been throughout his career. If he can stay healthy and find his rhythm, he could step into that role seamlessly, providing a much-needed spark behind the first line. And don't forget Alex Newhook, who's also vying for that spot. Newhook's speed, hockey IQ, and offensive instincts make him a compelling candidate. The Canadiens' management, led by Gorton, has been clear that they're exploring all avenues, but they're not rushing into any decisions. They believe in evaluating what they have within the organization first, which is a smart move considering the talent they've amassed in their prospect pool. And here's the thing, Montreal's front office is not just looking at these internal options out of necessity. They're also keeping an eye on the trade market, ready to pounce if the right opportunity presents itself. The NHL trade deadline is always a busy time, and this season could be no different. But what's interesting is that, right now, the team feels comfortable entering training camp with some unanswered questions. That's a sign of confidence, not complacency. They know they're not a finished product, and Gorton openly stated that upgrades could come later in the season if needed. This approach shows a mature understanding of the league's unpredictable nature and the importance of flexibility. Now, let's shift gears and focus on one of the most talked-about players in Montreal right now, Mike Matheson. The veteran defenseman, who's 31 years old, was a dependable, even crucial piece for the Canadiens during the last season. His role in anchoring the penalty kill was undeniable. In fact, many analysts and fans alike have praised his performance, highlighting his ability to play against top competition and his overall versatility on the ice. Gorton made it clear that no decisions have been made regarding Matheson's future. He emphasized how valuable Matheson was, especially in that penalty-killing role where he's been a true standout. But as we all know, NHL teams are constantly weighing their options, especially when it comes to contracts and trade assets. And Matheson's situation is no different. The key point here is the upcoming final year of his contract. Gorton pointed out that Matheson's performance has been huge for the Canadiens and that he's a player they appreciate. But the NHL insider community, particularly Frank Saravalli, has speculated that Matheson could be on the move if contract negotiations hit a snag. Why? Because with just 1 year remaining on his deal, his market value is high. Teams are always on the lookout for reliable defensemen, especially those with playoff experience and special teams prowess. The Canadiens might consider trading him if they believe they can get a significant return, perhaps a top 6 forward or a high draft pick. That could accelerate their rebuild or bolster their roster for a deep playoff run. And speaking of trades, let's not forget the recent blockbuster deal involving Noah Dobson. Montreal traded for Dobson from the New York Islanders, signing him to an impressive 8-year, $76 million extension. This move signals the Canadiens' serious intent to build a strong, competitive core for the future. Dobson is expected to play a major role on the blue line, bringing his size, skill, and puck-moving ability into the fold. His signing also demonstrates Montreal's commitment to stability and long-term planning, even in a league that's constantly evolving. The fact that Dobson turned down bigger contracts elsewhere to join Montreal speaks volumes about the franchise's appeal, especially considering the team's rich history and passionate fanbase. But what about the depth behind Dobson? Well, Montreal has been developing talented defensemen like David Reinbacher, a young Swiss prospect whose rise has been promising. Reinbacher's development adds layers of flexibility, giving the Canadiens options in terms of pairing and potential trades involving veterans like Matheson. The team's management, led by Kent Hughes, has been very disciplined about salary management and long-term planning. They want to build a sustainable contender, not just a flash in the pan. This means any trade involving Matheson, or even other veterans, will be carefully evaluated, ensuring it aligns with their financial and roster-building strategies. Now, some fans might be wondering about the overall outlook for Montreal's 2025-26 season. If we look at recent trends, the Canadiens are in a transitional phase. They have a solid core of young talent, including promising players like Juraj Slavkovsky, Kaiden Guhle, and the aforementioned Reinbacher. These players are expected to develop into key contributors, and the team is hoping that their growth combined with strategic additions can push them into playoff contention. The coaching staff, led by Martin St. Louis, has emphasized a culture of resilience and skill development, which is reflected in the team's recent performances and training camp focus. The offseason has also seen Montreal maintain cap flexibility, a crucial point in today's NHL. With the salary cap rising gradually, the Canadiens are positioning themselves to be active in the trade market or free agency should the right opportunities arise. They've been clear about their long-term vision, which involves nurturing young players while making savvy moves to complement them. The recent signing of Noah Dobson is a testament to that strategy, adding a top-tier defenseman on a long-term deal while still developing their prospects. But let's be honest, fans are deeply eager for that next big move, that splash signing or trade that propels the team into genuine Stanley Cup contention. And while Montreal isn't rushing into anything, the clues are there. The organization's patience and strategic planning suggest that they're carefully laying the groundwork for a competitive team that can contend for years, not just for a fleeting playoff appearance. The upcoming season could be pivotal, especially if the team manages to resolve some of these questions around the second-line center and the defense core. Achieving that balance between internal development and external acquisitions will be key to their success. As we wrap up, I want to remind you, Montreal Canadiens fans, that this team's future is bright, but it's also full of questions that will be answered in the coming months. The management is clearly taking a thoughtful approach, and the moves they make could define the franchise for the next decade. The next few weeks leading into training camp will be critical, as players fight for roster spots, and management evaluates who will be part of the team's core moving forward. Buzz is real and the excitement is building. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe Matheson will stay or go? Who do you think should get that second-line center spot? Are you excited about Dobson's signing and what it means for the team's future? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, this team is all about community, passion, and shared dreams of lifting that Stanley Cup once again. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Thanks for being here, and as always, let's go Canadiens!